Hey crew, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun project video we're going to be back over on the Shark Next Wave CNC machine making a Shark Week project for Shark Week 2026. As I said in Monday's video, during the course of this week it has been Shark Week over on the Discovery Channel crew, and I have been enjoying, I'm pretty sure these videos were filmed beforehand, but I'm pretty sure I am enjoying those shark focused documentaries over on the channel and escaping the heat of summer for a little bit while I enjoy studying more about the creatures that I love in Mother Ocean. Now, the design was designed in the Vectric V-Carve software, and if you all remember when Next Wave CNC sent me that nice bucket packed full of everything, they sent me a pack of CNC bits, and you can see one of them is missing. One of them is loaded into the head of the router over there on the CNC, and I'm using a 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch, 60-degree V-groove bit. There you can see where it was in it. The file I've designed is loaded onto the Shark control panel here, and it says a rough estimate is going to be around 20 minutes to totally cut this out, and we're going to be using another piece of poplar from the hardwood store. Before we ever get started, we're going to cut it down to a more manageable size and quickly drill some holes in the corners to attach it to our MDF spool board. I like using an MDF spool board because I'm able to quickly just screw the pieces in place and rock and roll, as opposed to putting the hold downs in the channels there. But you could totally do that. I know a lot of people do that. I'm just doing what works best for me out in the workshop at this time of the videos recording. But I'm really happy and always looking forward to Shark Week, and as I said, I'm more than likely enjoying the shark shows while you all are hopefully viewing and enjoying this video. And since we need to cut this down to a more manageable size, let's do that now so we can get it attached to the spool board and get the CNC project for Shark Week started. And over here at the desktop computer, I'm showing you all a little bit of the design process in the Vectric V-Carve software. It gives you a simulated view of the tool path and what the finished project will hopefully look like once it is carved in reality. But before we step over to the CNC machine and load the file, I'm going to cut our piece of 1/2 inch poplar down to size. And then I'm going to take my Craftsman drill and drill a hole in each of the 4 corners. This will allow me to mount the piece to the MDF spool board I have on the Next Wave CNC machine. And I'll use my drill and just some basic 1.5 inch wood screws to screw it in place. And this will hold it firmly during the whole carving process, lining everything up by eye. And now it'll be time to zero out the CNC machine by moving the gantry and the CNC head. I'll have to zero out the XYZ axis. And when I'm happy with that, we can hit start on the file we have loaded onto the laptop. And we are using the V-carving bit that Next Wave kindly sent me. So thank you, Next Wave CNC, for supplying me with the bit used in this video. This is a very simplistic V-carving design, and since it's so small so I can set it up on my shark collection shelf that I have, it only takes around 18 to 20 minutes to completely carve this out from start to finish. And obviously the footage is sped up. But if you all like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. Once all of the carving is complete, the CNC head will go back to 0 and power off, letting me know that all of the carving process is complete. Of course, I hope it goes without saying that a CNC machine is not a tool you want to leave unattended out in your garage or workshop. I was in the workshop for the entire carving process, doing other things, cleaning up and getting projects prepped for future YouTube videos. Again, it only took the Next Wave CNC machine around 20 minutes here to do all of the carving. And you'll see it come back to home and power off. And then I can step back over to the laptop and jog the gantry arm back to where I leave it when the CNC is not in use. And we'll take our shop vac and quickly clean up the sawdust and take our drill and remove the screws from the spool board, and we'll have our first glimpse of the design. And V-carving is very smooth, but there's still a little bit of cleanup that I like to do with a very tiny V-carve sanding attachment on my Marathon rotary tool by Bearwood Supply that Sterling Davis gave me, just cleaning up any chip outs that might have formed on the material. But I can tell you that poplar sands or cuts very smooth at the CNC machine. But now at the drill press, we're sanding away any residual carving marks with a Klingspor Woodworking Shop sand and mop. And I find myself using the sand and mop more and more. But now we'll add a splash of color with some water-based black acrylic craft paint. And you could totally use a multitude of colors here or epoxy resins. I just think the black will really pop with the grain of the poplar once the clear coat is applied at the end. And I'm not overly concerned if I get out of line here. I'm making sure to get all of the carving spots saturated with the paint. I can clean everything up after the paint dries, which will be the next step with the sander. But the paint dries relatively quickly. After I was done here, I did sit it in front of a fan to help accelerate the drying time. But after it was dry to the touch, I took my orbital sander and I was very careful with light circular motions here to clean up anywhere that I might have gotten out of line. And this really cleans up the design and gives you a nice visual of what the finished product is going to look like. But it does take a while to do the sanding here. And after I was happy with it, we took our blower gun and we sprayed away any of the caked in sawdust. And then I went over to my Rikon scroll saw, and with a number 5 ultra reverse tooth blade, I carefully freehanded an outside perimeter here, releasing the shark tooth from the waste wood. Now you could totally do the release cut over at the CNC machine, but since I'm comfortable on the scroll saw, I felt it appropriate for me to do the release cut at the Rikon scroll saw. But then we'll be heading to the next step, which will be the final bit of sanding to clean up any of the orbital sanding marks with a vibrating palm sander with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper. And I'll carefully round over all of the sharp edges here. But after I am happy with it, it'll be time for finishing with a few coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And let me tell you, crew, it really made that poplar grain texture stand out, and it looked great against the black logo. When it dried, our project was complete. And here we have the completed shark tooth for Shark Week 2026, crew, and I think it finished up better than I could have imagined. Again, I'm still getting back into the world of CNC machines. The CNC machine is sitting right here. I've already got it powered off. As I said at the beginning, the file is very simplistic for V-carving, which is what we've done here, and you all seen most of the process in the time-lapse manner, and you can see how there is depth here in all of the carving, and it only took the CNC machine around 20 minutes to carve this completely from start to finish. So by the time I had the CNC machine going, and I started doing some cleanup out here, working on some other stuff. By the time I turn around, it was time to take it off the CNC machine and proceed to the next step. As I always say with CNC videos, these are not machines that you want to walk away from for a long period of time due to the nature of them. Of course, they could catch something, they could break a bit, and it could fly off somewhere, and you just need to be in your workshop as safe as possible, keeping an eye on it. Of course, you can walk away to get a refreshment, use the restroom, something like that, but I was pretty much in here the entire time the CNC was running. I really love how vibrant the Shark Week logo came out, and then the shark's mouth, and then the overall perimeter shape of the shark's tooth. These were all vectors I picked up off of sites like Etsy, and I found the shark tooth outline. It was a coloring page, I believe, or a SVG file, and I just took the perimeter to have our border to make the project. And when it dries completely, it's relatively dry now. I can touch it, I can hold it, but still, if I flip it over to put a hanger on it, it could still damage the surface. It needs to completely cure overnight, if that makes any sense, with the Rust-Oleum clear gloss we added. But I can hang this with my shark collection that I showed you in Monday's video when we cut out the Shark Week Great White Shark portrait on the scroll saw. And I'm going to show you all of the shark projects we made this week for Shark Week. Again, these videos are being uploaded during the week of Shark Week. I usually, when I do Shark Week videos, is do it the week prior, but I thought, hey, how cool would it be to upload it during the week of Shark Week, and then you all can hopefully view my video and then flip on the Discovery Channel if you are in my area and watch some good shark documentaries. But really, really cool. I follow all of the shark conservationists, the celebrities that appear on Shark Week. I know there's a lot of celebrity endorsement. One of my favorite people to view and follow on Shark Week is Paul DeGelder. He was involved in a shark attack, and it changed his career path, and now he is totally committed to shark awareness and shark conservation out in Mother Ocean. But it is really cool to make something on all three of the machines out here in the workshop. Again, as I said, Monday we cut out a great white shark portrait, and this was all cut by my hands crew. It was a Scott McKenna scroll saw pattern, and then Wednesday we made a layered shark design. All of this was laser engraved and laser cut, and then I glued all the layers together to make this beautiful three-dimensional scene. And then today's video, Friday, we have made a shark tooth Shark Week design for, again, Shark Week 2026. But let me know which of the projects we've made this week during Shark Week is your favorite down in the comments below. But I'm really happy with how this came out. We used basic poplar material that's relatively readily available in most areas. I can pick poplar up at Lowe's Home Improvement, and of course go up the road to the hardwood store of North Carolina in Gibsonville, where we have done a video previously. And also, if I wanted to travel up to Winston-Salem to Klingspor Woodworking Shop, they also sell poplar as well. This is 1/2-inch pieces here that were pre-milled down. I got these in a plastic wrapped bundle up at the hardwood store about a year or so ago, and I've still been using them, and I found that poplar really carves smoothly, as you can see here how smooth that is, and I think that speaks to the quality of the bits. Primarily I use Tools Today CNC carving bits over on the Next Wave CNC machine, but Next Wave kindly sent me their CNC bits, and we have just tried out the first one. If you can see where that one is missing, it's a version of this CNC bit. It's just tapered to a tighter V, if that makes any sense. But it says a 60-degree 1/2-inch 3/8 V groove bit. So I would highly recommend these. These cut extremely smoothly, and I hope the results speak for themselves. Now for painting, I used basic acrylic craft paint to paint everything, and then due to the heat and humidity of the summer, everything dried very quickly. When I got done painting everything, being as careful to stay in the lines as I could, I put it in front of a fan to also help accelerate the drying time, because if there was any globs of glue in there, it would help smooth those out with that wind going against it. Hopefully that makes sense. And then we sanded everything up nice and smooth with the orbital sander, and then we went to a high grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sander over on the vibrating palm sander. And then, because I'm more familiar with it, I like to do the outside perimeter cut with the scroll saw itself. And if I wanted to glue where I started the cut there and went all the way around, I could totally have a shark tooth profile there that I could use for airbrush or spray paint purposes. But I feel like if you've done this file and you went a little deeper, I think I went around 4 millimeters deep here, enough to where it would give it some depth when you picked it up and looked at it. But if you wanted to go a little bit deeper with it, I feel like you could put some nice colored epoxies or resins if you are very good with those. I've not had a lot of success with them. Of course, I was using some cheaper, just hobby grade epoxies. I might try some more in the future, I don't know. But for what it is, I think it came out beautifully and is small enough to set up on my shelf with my shark collection. But what I'm going to do now is do what my shirt says, crew, and live every week like it is Shark Week. I hope you all have enjoyed the shark-centric and shark-focused projects from Monday all the way now until Friday, and hopefully along today's video you picked up maybe a tip, trick, or tidbit when it comes to CNC. Again, by no means am I an expert. I am learning on the go as we continue to make these videos. But that's going to be about all for this one, crew. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social media feeds will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, crew, and remember, if I can make it or do it, so can you all. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care. Hope you all had a happy Shark Week 2026, and I'll see you all real soon.